guys, welcome to Code, and today we'll be looking at another cup of code, and I will be taking you through scaffolding all the other tables that we have for our microservices and REST APIs that we have. So we'll be going through adding the category, the to-do, and the to-do item, because we already, if you've seen the previous video, we've already added the user table that we scaffolded for our user entity here on our code base, and we are continuing with that. So let's see how we can get these over to our REST APIs. We're just gonna start by scaffolding our entities here. So we want to add a class, and we're just gonna make this category. I'm gonna start from category. Then we're gonna say finish. This should be fine. And category, we're looking at it, has name and description, which is fine. So we're just going to annotate these. Start by annotating them. Let's add entity, add table, and this is the table name is category, and that's that. So now we need ID, and we're gonna say private long ID, and we just want to generate this generated value, and we're gonna say generation strategy is going to be identity. Come on, it's identity. What the heck am I doing? Come on. Right, so that looks good. So now we have our ID, and let's just make sure JPA gives us table. Right, so the next one is private string name. So what we have here, and let's just make this, and we can say private, and we say string, and we say description. Right, so that's description. That looks good. So we might as well just annotate these with column. You don't really have to. Spring already knows that, and that's the power of Springboot, because you don't have to actually annotate these. But if you have to, you can add that, and you can also add if the column name is different than the variable name that you're assigning here, you can just give it a column name at this level here, and it should be fine. So the name, we just say description, and then if it's different one, let's say maybe it's this, something like that, then it will map it correctly without any issues. But because ours is the same, so it should be fine with that. So now let's just do let's just add some accessors here. Let's add that and generate that for us. Right, so that looks good. Happiness. So let's just close these other ones, the ones that we don't need. Let's just close all of them, and also close these ones. Right, so that looks good. So now we have category, entity. So now above that, what I want is actually to add a DTO for our entity before we do anything else. So let's just add a class here. We say category DTO, so that should be fine. And this will just have two fields, since our entity or our domain object has everything ID and stuff. The DTO will just have string name, and we also have private string description. So then we just need to add some accessors as well here and generate that. So now we have our DTO and we have our domain object, right? So after that, what we want to do is to actually create a DAO repository. Let's just create an interface, I category, um, I category repo, so that should be fine. Let's share, and our repo obviously will extend JPA repository, and this will be category, and this will be long, so that will be fine. So something that I want to add here is also category find by name, and then we just gonna pass in string name, and we're going to find the category by name at this level here. So this should be enough. Now we should be able to communicate with the database, and this is where we're going to access the data relating to category and be able to persist data on our category. So now we have that. We have our data access object, repository, and now we need a service for it. So let's just scaffold that quickly. And we're just going to set class, and we can add category service, and this should be enough. And also, guys, just to recap here, we can actually annotate this with add repository so that you know that this is a repository, and you save that. It should be fine. And let's just go to our service, just make sure that this is also annotated correctly. This is our service. So now we're just gonna we're gonna do some dependency injection here to auto wire our category repo, and category repo should be that. So starting from here, you're gonna do some public, let's say category. I wanna do some CRUD operations here. We're gonna start by persisting category, which will create or update a new category, and here we'll take in a category, then we're going to say return category repo, save category, and that should be fine, right? And let's see if this can import. Right, so now this is what we need to persist, and obviously we'll just make some checks here to make sure that if it already exists, just update it instead of creating one. So we're just gonna do that at this level here, which is fine without anything that is fancy on our logic. We'll just check for if it exists, just update it. We won't do any other like complicated business checks at this point. So what we want to do now is to say public, say category, and we say find or let me say retrieve category by name. Then we're gonna pass in string name. Then we will say return category repo find by name, and we pass in the name, and voila, we get our category here. And if we want this, we can just say if so we're gonna do some checks here for category if it exists. So we're gonna say category say data, or category C is equals to retrieve category by name, and we're gonna say category dot get name, and let's see, if category is not null, then we want to update it here. Do that. We're going to say C is equals to. Now I want to show you something here. I'm going to say category to category DTO mapper. Let me just call it that. Then here I pass in the category, and so here I'll be passing in the category, and I'll be passing in the category DTO, and I want the category. Yes, that's what we want here. Category DTO. Let's just make sure that that's that. Yes, so that's fine. And here we are going to be saving category that. So instead of this, let me just change it to DTO, and then my category here will be the actual category, which is the domain object, so we know what we are handling at which point. So here we'll pass in the category, and we pass in the DTO. Right. So now we're gonna say retrieve category by name from DTO if it exists here. If it exists, so if it's not null, take the DTO and populate the category, then update the category here, which we can still do at this level. Yeah, we can still persist here. Category, which is that, right? So now we need to create this method, which is our DTO adapter. Now we need to populate it, right? So we have our DTO and we want to populate our category, right? So now we're going to say category that dot set name DTO dot get name. Let me say category dot set description. Then we're going to say DTO dot get description, right? Then we're going to return category at this point. So now look at this. So we come here and say when you persist the category, right, we're going to pass in the DTO, which is the name and description, the only things that you can update, and we say, do we have a category of this name as according to what we have in our DTO? Then you're going to say, yes, we do have a category. If we do have the category, then populate the category with the DTO updates that we want to do, and then come back and update that. But if there is nothing, if the category is null at this point, if it is null, then we just populate if it is null, then we actually populate the DTO with, so if it's not null at this point, we populate the category with that data, and what we can do here is passing a null. So when we get here, we then say category category is equals to, actually we just need to check here, and we do that. Let's just say if category is equals to null, then what we can do is to say category equals to new category, and I can just remove this and place it here. Right. So now our code looks better. So we can essentially come back here, refactor this, and say, so here it's going to try to retrieve the category. If the category is null, then it's going to create a new one. Here it's going to create a new object. But if it's not null, then we might as well just remove the check here, because we're going to get a category passed in from the DTO, and that looks fine, and I'm happy with it. So that looks good. So now we get a category. We say if we do have a category, it's going to populate the details here. But if it's null, then we're going to create a new object for category, and then we're going to return that category with the populated details, and then we're going to save it here, which this looks much better, and I'm happy with. And we can then continue with our code. So we're able to create and update a category. You can retrieve a category by name, and then now we just need to say public list retrieve category list. Let's just do that really quickly, and we're gonna say retrieve category list, and this we are going to return category repo dot find all, which is fine for now. There's nothing heavy that we're doing here, so that should be fine. Actually, this list shouldn't be that one. It should be Java import, Java util. So this should be fine. So now we're able to retrieve a list, and now we just need one last action, which is to delete. So let's say remove category, and let's just do category DTO. Let's just say DTO, and you're gonna say category repo dot delete. Right, so here we'll be deleting a category, and the category is going to come from category is equals to retrieve category by name, and we're just going to say DTO dot get name, and that's going to give us the category to delete, and then we delete that category and be done. So now we are done with our business logic. We need to add in the controller. So let's add the API here, and we need to say this will be new class category controller, say finish. So this will be add REST controller, and we're going to say add request mapping will be, let me just check my convention here, API v1. Let's just do that here. just gonna say category, which is what we have. So some dependency injection again. Now we are going to call business layer, and we're gonna say that, and now we are gonna say add post mapping and response body. So we're gonna say public void, let's just say create category, which is fine, and we're just gonna do put mapping, and I'm gonna sort these out now in a few minutes. I just want to create them so that you see them. Let's just say public void update category, and let's just say add get mapping, add response body, and we are going to say public. This will be a category, so let's just do, actually now that I think about it, it will be category DTO because we don't want to return back. Okay, we do category, so we are going to say retrieve category by name, and it should be fine. And these I can copy because it's going to be a list here. Retrieve category list, right? So now we can then do one last mapping, which is a delete mapping, add response body. Even though I'm putting nulls for now, or void response, I'm just saving this for later on when, or if I want to return a response entity there. Let's just do category service dot remove category, then we pass in the DTO, which is fine. So I'm gonna pass request body here, which is category DTO, and we're just gonna call it DTO, which is fine. And then it's going to do all the rest for us. And on this one, it's gonna return. Let's return category service dot retrieve category list. So that should be enough. I'm gonna sort the import here, import for that. So here we're just gonna use the request body of the category DTO. So we're going to return here the retrieve category by name. Then we're going to say DTO.getName, and it's going to give us that category. And okay, I'll update the method here to actually give us the DTO, and we're going to map that according to that. And we're also going to pass in that, and we're also going to pass in that. And then here, what we're going to do is category service dot persist DTO, which is fine. And here we're going to do the same thing, which is basically it's the same thing. So now we have scaffolded our APIs For category, let's just sort the two things that we need, which is import Java util. That should be fine. That is sorted. Then let's map our category by name method to a DTO so that it returns a DTO instead of a category. So now what we want to do is to say, so a category defined by name, and we want to map that to a category DTO, which is that, and we're gonna say DTO string name is just say DTO by name, string name, report defined by name, and we are going to say we want to, so we do have a category now, we want to map that category to category DTO mapper. So I have category here, and my DTO, you can just say category DTO, then this is going to be new category DTO, so that's fine. And so I do have the category to category DTO mapper. Let me make sure that my mapper is fine. So category to category DTO mapper, no, this is not the right word. It's not the correct naming for this, because I'm taking category DTO to category. Yeah. So now I need to do a category to category DTO mapper. Yes. So let's fix that quickly. So we're gonna take this and we're going to add it there. So now we're gonna say this is category DTO. So category DTO to category mapper, and I want to do that. So here I actually do not need to do that, and I can just remove that, because when I come here I can remove that. I pass in a category, and what I expect is my DTO to come back with the category DTO is equals to new category DTO. Come on, category DTO. Right. So now we're going to say DTO dot set name, then category dot get name. Let's format this correctly. Now it looks nice. Dot set description. And then we're gonna say category dot get. Come on, get description. Then we're gonna respond with the DTO. Right, so that looks good, and that looks good, that looks proper, and now we just need to say retrieve category DTO by name and DTO.get name, so that looks fine. And also here, so now this is the nice and tricky bit that we can do at this level here. So we're going to find all, then we're going to stream this, right? Then we're going to map this, and we're going to say this, and be on to map this to category category to category DTO mapper, and we want to say dot collect collectors dot as list. So this should be fine. So let's see this. We want to map you, and we are going to map you to this category, and we're going to find the category to category DTO mapper, and we're going to collect that and connect that to that. So let's just do that, and now let's do collectors. Doesn't want to import that, so that's fine. We're just gonna do import here java.util .stream. Right, so let's save this and let's check that. So now we have our category to category DTO. The to list, yes, that's the one. Right, so that's that. So our map here, why is it not so happy? Retrieve. Let's see our mapper. So category, this category, yes. So that looks fine. Wait, am I missing something here? Let me just make sure I'm not missing something here, because that looks good to me. Yes, that looks good to me. My mapper, user entity, yes. So why would it complain here when I did basically the very same thing? Is it me or is it it? So we get all the results, we stream, we map this category to category DTO mapper. Category service does not define category to category DTO mapper that is applicable here. Wait, man, but this does. Oh, let me do this. In this controller, not controller, in this service, I do have this guy. He's being sorry about that, guys. Got disturbed. And so looking at this, I see that the issue is actually in the naming convention of the mapper, the mappers that we have here for our domain object and our DTO. So this one is our mapper for the DTO to the domain object, which is category. So which means we want to take category DTO to category mapper. So that's what we want with this one, and wherever we use it, we say category DTO to category mapper, and it's happy, right? So now for the second one is we have category to category DTO mapper, because we do have a category and we want to convert that to a DTO. So we say category to category DTO mapper, and we are going to use that mapper here, where we do have the category, we just want the DTO sent back to us. So that's a category DTO mapper. And the same way here, we do have the category, we are just mapping the DTO to that, and now it looks happy and it looks good. So with our service looking this good, what we need to do now is to actually test our REST endpoints and see what we get. So let me start up the application, and whilst that is happening, one thing that I'm going to do is to come back and add some requests here. So I'm going to add a folder, and I'm going to call this category, and this should be fine. And category, I'm going to add a request, and we're just going to call it category, and this will be a get category request. So that should be fine. I want to copy that and I'll paste that in there. This should be category, and I'll save this. So what I'm going to do now, let me just do JSON, and we are just going to say name, let's just say maybe groceries, and save that. Let's see what we have in the DB. Let's do category, select. Oh, we do have groceries. That's the one that I added by default. So let's see that. Is the application up, or is it complaining about something? Let's see what is it complaining about. Category controller. There is already category controller being named or being method. Okay, so category controller, retrieve controller by name, DTO mapped, boom, boom, boom. Right, so now we need category controller method. So now controller, we need, let's see, so API, so the controller that we have, category controller, which is the REST controller, and everything is looking good. So let's go up and see when the issue starts. Error creating, being with name, being defined in category controller method, and retrieve category list. Let's check this. This is retrieve category by name, retrieve category by name. It's there. Category, retrieve category by name, category list, and retrieve category list. So category list, and let's see this. So we're gonna retrieve all of that, and come here, say category to category DTO mapper, which is fine, and nothing to, we have then that looks fine. Retrieve category list. Oh, okay. Here's our problem here. This one needs to be list, right? Sorry about that, guys. Now we can start it up. Because the mappings here it's pointing to the same thing, and now it's confused. Is it this one or is it this one? So that looks good now. So it should be fine. Start it up, no issues, and everything looks good. Right. So now we can come back here and just do a retrieve, and boom, voila. We have our category list, and we have our category by name here. So if we actually want the list, let me just create another one here. Let's just duplicate this. Rename and just put list. So now we want to say list. Doesn't matter if I have a body or not, but yeah, let's just say none. So now that's the list, and you see it's not one object, but the list only has one object in there. So it's not returning the ID, which we actually do have on the domain object category here. It's not returning the ID because we're using the DTO, and this is how we can actually filter what our APIs send back to the end users or to the front end or to integration points, and we can actually limit what they can see using the DTO pattern in this sort of way. And now the interesting part here is that if I'm now saying add let's say add a request here, let's just say add category, let's just call it that, and then let me take category here, let's add it there, and we're just gonna make a post here. So I'm just gonna take this payload as is. I'm gonna come to body. I'm gonna say this will be JSON, and let's say laundry laundry list, and we say save this and say send. Boom. Now when we come back and say category list, we should see more. So now we have those, and we are interacting with the DTO, and because we're already interacting with the DTO, we can be able at the application level on your service here be able to add more rules to validate the data that you're receiving before updating the domain or updating the details in the database, so you have more control of what happens at this level just before you get to persist the data into the DB. And I'm gonna do the other ones, guys. I'm gonna continue doing the other ones, and to sort of save time on that. But basically, we will be doing the same thing, and see you on to the next one. For this one, guys, thank you very much for watching, and please do like and subscribe. See you later. Cheers.